Hello everyone. In this lesson, we will be talking about drama during Elizabethan era. We will learn about Shakespeare, Ben Jonson, and other major or minor dramatists of that time. Also, we will be discussing about literary features of the drama during that age. Let's start with contribution of Shakespeare's predecessors. So they make free use of variety in theme and tone, often blending tragic and comic incidents. Everything that happens being represented on the stage. It repudiates the three unities. So before Shakespeare came over, university wits used to be there. So they established some, easy forms or easy ways for Shakespeare, and these easy tricks helped Shakespeare in developing the kind of drama that he did. So they make free use of variety in theme and tone, often blending tragic and comic incidents and characters in the same piece. As I have mentioned in my earlier videos that nobody's life is either tragic or only comic. Nobody's only sad or only happy. Life is a mixture of both of them. So these writers, these dramatists use that technique, use that form, and they created their dramas which is a mixture of both these emotions. Also, before Shakespeare came over or before university wits, the writer used to deem of the violence or bloodshed of the stage. A messenger used to come over, he used to tell that so and so has been killed or hurt or injured, and that is it. But after these university wits, when they came over, they didn't follow the same trend. They openly and freely portrayed those bloodshed and violence and even murders openly. Also, these university wits or Shakespeare predecessors, they repudiate the three unities. They didn't pay any head over these unities. They used to allow the story or occasion to extend over months and even years, changing the scene as often as is necessary, sometimes from one town or country to another, employing subplots and minor episodes in connection with its central subject. So they used to avoid all the three unities. And all this helped Shakespeare a lot in developing the drama that he did in future. Age of Shakespeare. Shakespeare was such a big influence on the literature of that time that sometime instead of saying the age of Elizabeth, it is also known as age of Shakespeare as well. We'll start with his personal life. He was born on 23rd April 1964 in Warwickshire. He belonged to a well-to-do family. He went to grammar school. At the age of 19, he married Anne Hathaway. 3 children were born with this marriage. So he belonged to a well-to-do family. He was the son of a prosperous tradesman of the town. His father was a mayor during his time. So he went to a good school. But when he was young, financial misfortunes overtook his father. He was just 14. He was taken from school so that he might help the family by earning money on his account, and that is how he started finding jobs. He married Anne Hathaway when he was just 19, and 3 children were born from this marriage. In 1587, he left his native town to seek his fortune in London. He first became an actor and then a playwright. Later, he became a shareholder in 2 of the leading theatres, the Globe and the Blackfriars, and he finally died on 23rd April in 1616. So the person who used to suffer from poverty, he later became the shareholder of the 2 of the leading theatres, and his last years were spent in a very luxurious or very prosperous environment as well. And in 1616 his health started to break down, and then he died on 1616. Now we'll talk about works of Shakespeare. He wrote 37 plays in his lifetime, and his plays are divided uh, into four categories depending on the year that they have been written. So the first category is from 1588 to 1593. This was a period of early and experimental work. To this period belongs his first comedies, Love's Labour's Lost, The Two Gentlemen of Verona, The Comedy of Errors, A Midsummer Night's Dream. He also wrote Richard III and Romeo and Juliet during this time. There was use of blank verse, pun, conceits, etc. in this play. The work of this period as a whole is extremely slight in texture. The treatment of life in it is superficial. There is little depth of thought or characterization, and the art is markedly immature. It was just starting for Shakespeare, he just started writing, so the work was not as ripe as it started to be in later years. Second is from 1594 to 1600. It was the period of great comedies and chronicles. The work of this period are Richard II, King John, The Merchant of Venice, Henry IV, Part 1 and 2, Henry V, The Taming of Shrew, The Merry Wives of Windsor, Much Ado About Nothing, As You Like It, and Twelfth Night. These plays are far more massive in quality. The knowledge of the world and of the motives and passion of man which it everywhere exhibits is infinitely more profound. Characterization and humor have become deep and penetrative. So with time Shakespeare started growing and his play started improving. Next is the period from 1601 to 1608. This was a period of great tragedies and of somber or bitter comedies. The play of this period are Julius Caesar, Hamlet, All's Well That Ends Well, Measure for Measure, Troilus and Cressida, Othello, King Lear, Macbeth, Antony and Cleopatra, Coriolanus and Timon of Athens. In this period, all Shakespeare's powers, his dramatic power, his intellectual power, and his power of expression are at their highest. And three best comedy tragedies till now were also produced during this period. The sins and weakness of men form the staple of his plot, and even when he writes what are theoretically distinguished as comedies, the emphasis is still thrown on evil and tone is either grave or fierce. So that was the basic objective of Shakespeare during this time. And last period is from 1608 to 1612. It was the period of later comedies or dramatic romances. The play of this period are Cymbeline, The Tempest, and The Winter's Tale. These plays show the decline of Shakespeare's dramatic power. Next is Ben Jonson. Now we'll talk about Ben Jonson and his contribution. We'll start with his personal life. He was born in Westminster in 1573. He received his education from Westminster School and Cambridge University. He got married at the age of 19 or 20. He was later made poet laureate. He died poverty stricken in 1637. Ben Jonson was the most quoted of all writers. He was a very good writer. Works of Ben Jonson. Alone he fought against the romantic tendency of the age and to restore the classic standards. Jonson's first comedy, Every Man in His Humour, is a key to all his drama. Cytherea's Revels satirized the humour of the court, while The Poet's Tear was the result of a quarrel with his contemporaries. The best known of Jonson's comedies are Volpone, The Alchemist, and The Silent Woman. Jonson wrote two great tragedies, Susannas and Catiline. Jonson wrote many masks like The Satire, Mask of Blackness, Mask of Beauty, The Mask of Queens, etc. Now we'll talk about some other important writers of the age. So we'll start with Beaumont and Fletcher. Their work is romantic, coarse and brutal. Together they work on many plays, but Fletcher and the Maid's Tragedy are the best. Next is John Webster. His best known plays are The White Devil and The Duchess of Malfi. He was a well known dramatist under James I. Thomas Middleton. He is known by the great play The Changeling and Women Beware Women. Next is Thomas Haywood. His life covers the whole period of Elizabethan drama. He contributed 220 plays. He wrote A Woman Killed with Kindness and The Fair Maid of the West. He wrote 220 plays, and that was too much for a writer to write. But also, few of his plays were good and rest were just trash. So he wrote A Woman Killed with Kindness and The Fair Maid of the West, which were his best or most readable plays. So that was all about drama during Elizabethan age. Shakespeare was the greatest influence and the greatest playwright till now of the Elizabethan age. We learned about Ben Jonson and another important major dramatist. I hope it was helpful for you. If you have any doubts, queries or feedback, please mention them in the comment section. And don't forget to rate, review and share these lessons. Thank you.